Mom, help me. Sailor? Why are you home? Aren't you supposed to be on school trip? I don't want to go. My daughter, who had left for the field trip with a smile, has come back home in tears. I couldn't comprehend why she was here, and for a moment, my thoughts froze in confusion. She looked so distressed that I spoke to her gently. At the same time, a new question arose. How did you come home? She was supposed to take a bus from school to the amusement park today. It's impossible for her to be home just 2 hours after leaving. She slowly started answering my questions, sobbing. I came back by car. They told me to get off right in front of home. By car? I raised my voice in shock. Was it someone you know? It was Dad. What? Unable to calm down, I called my husband. Hello? What is up with you? Huh? What are you talking about? Sailor's back home. Yeah. So? The call was abruptly ended. Filled with anger, my fists clenched tight. Can you tell me what happened? Yeah, look in the backpack. The inside of the backpack was a complete mess. The lunchbox filled with her favorite things was open, food and snacks scattered everywhere. Not only that, but the juice that had been in her Stanley was gone too. Did your dad do this too? Yes. I left my daughter with a friend and headed to my husband's office. I couldn't forgive him for ruining the field trip Sailor had been looking forward to. I barged through the doors of his office. What was starting was a battle for revenge in the name of protecting my daughter. I'm Marie, a stay-at-home mom in my 30s. I live with my husband Timothy, who is 3 years younger than me, and our 6-year-old daughter Sailor. However, Sailor is not Timothy's biological daughter, but my child from a previous marriage. Maybe you are ready to consider getting married again? Yeah. You can't get over losing him, huh? I lost my previous husband in a car accident for years before marrying Timothy. My mother, worried for me and Sailor, suggested I look for love again, but I couldn't even think about it that time. Back then, I was doing my best to maintain our lives, working as an admin part-time. That's when I met Timothy. Haven't you been overworking lately? You are always staying late. It's just the usual, I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'll take some of that, let's get it finished. Back then, Timothy had only just switched jobs, but he was kind to me. Honestly, at that time, I was trying to avoid men as much as possible. But I couldn't push Timothy away too strongly because he reminded me of my ex-husband. You really don't have to pay me so much attention, you know? Eh? Why's that? Why? Well. But I like you. Huh? Shocked, I let out a strange sound. He basically confessed his feelings to me. But I have been married once. That's okay with me. And I have a child. There was a brief pause, and I thought I saw Timothy's eyebrows twitch. It's fine. My heart wavered. I was happy, but responding now seemed all too irresponsible. I can't give an answer right away. I understand. I'll wait as long as you need. Back home, I was terribly conflicted about what to do. After a few days of contemplation, I made a suggestion to him. It was to introduce him to my daughter. If she accepted him, I thought I might accept his confession. Hi. You must be Sailor. I'm Sailor. Nice to meet you. The following weekend, the three of us went out, and they bonded so much more than I had expected, almost like a real family. Seeing this, I felt relieved and was able to give my answer. About your earlier question, if you like me still, yes. Are you serious? Thank you. And so, we started dating. And 6 months later, we got married. I was excited about our new life together, but marriage doesn't always go as planned. Our new life began with us renting a place and moving in together. My daughter seemed perfectly happy to me, so I wasn't concerned. But that was only at the beginning. Now that we're married, I'd like you to become a stay-at-home mother. What? What brought this on? Well, I think it's better for Sailor. But Sailor is starting elementary school this year. Hearing this, he showed a look of irritation. And working in the same company isn't ideal, right? Considering what others might think. I guess so, but... Then that's settled. Thanks. His irritated expression soon turned into a smile as he spoke. I didn't want to start our marriage with an argument, so I accepted his request. And from there, our relationship gradually started going downhill. I'm going out to the salon for a bit, take care of Sailor while I'm out. Sure, got it. Well, I'm off then. Bye, Mom. Then, I left the two of them to head out. It was the first time since getting married that I was anxious about leaving my husband and daughter alone together, but I thought they had a good relationship, so I convinced myself it would be fine. But when I came back home after about 2 hours, the house was eerily quiet. I'm home. But there was no reply from either of them. Worried, I immediately went to the living room. There, I found my daughter lying on the couch. Sailor? Oh, Mom? Thank goodness. Relieved, I just collapsed right there. Apparently, she had just been sleeping. Where's your dad? There was no sign of him anywhere in the house. He told me to house sit and went out somewhere. What? I called him immediately, but no answer. An hour had passed by when he finally got home. I'm home. I rushed to the entrance. Where have you been? Oh, just up for a walk. A walk? Leaving Sailor behind? Come on, don't be so mad. She was sleeping, and I just needed a break. However, I didn't miss the change in my husband. For a walk, you smell awfully good? He smelled like sweet flowers, almost like body wash. What? You must be imagining things. Saying that, he quickly went to our bedroom. And when he came out, he had changed his clothes. Probably to get rid of the smell. We hadn't been married long, but I couldn't help but think the worst. Why did you change? I sweated a bit. I'm hungry. From that moment on, I started to doubt his faithfulness. He began to avoid us, and it pained me to see our daughter sad. It seemed like she felt the same for me, showing concern despite her young age. Mom, are you okay? What's up, sweetie? I'm fine. Good. Were you worried about Mom? Thank you. I hugged her gently. Her smile was the only thing that brought me happiness under this tough time. It was my only solace. Then, the day I felt the greatest anger I had ever known came. One night, I woke up suddenly and saw that Timothy was not beside me. I decided to head to the kitchen for a little drink. That is when I heard his voice. It seemed he was on the phone with someone. Ah, yes. Oh man. I'm just exhausted. I should have never married someone with a kid. She looked good for her age, that's why I got together with her. His words hit me like a brick. I was frozen in place. He was cold to my otter, but I never imagined he would be cruel to this extent. His complaints continued. Yeah, that's right. What should I do now? Huh? No, that would be going too far. I didn't know what he was talking about, but it couldn't be good. The kid's also been distancing herself from me lately, really gets on my nerves. Do I need to show her who's boss? I was shocked that he harbored such awful feelings towards her, but even more so, I felt my hatred for him growing. I was about to confront him, but I stopped myself. Instead, I went to get my smartphone to record the conversation. When I returned to the front of the living room door, he was still mocking us with laughter. I won't forgive him. Thus, I recorded the conversation as evidence. Well, I'm going to bed now. Talk to you later. As soon as I heard him hang up, I rushed into bed. I spent the night unable to sleep. But the problem wasn't just my husband. The presence of my mother-in-law was significant. Marie, aren't you thinking about moving in together soon? I'm sorry, I don't plan to at the moment. Has your husband agreed to this? I'll talk to him later. What did I allow him to marry a widow with a child for? And Timothy doesn't seem interested either. That's because you keep feeding him lies about us. That's not true. She thinks I stole her beloved son. Timothy seems a bit fed up with his overprotective mother. She had originally demanded we live together in exchange for her blessing our marriage, but it was her husband who stopped her. That was when we went to visit my in-laws' house to formally announce our marriage. There's no need to make them live with the elderly. That's not the issue, is it? Honey, please be quiet for a moment. What's important is their feelings. What you want to do, Timothy? I'd like us to live as a family of 3 for now. Then it's decided. Timothy says so, and that's fine, right, honey? If Timothy says so. Thus, we were able to get married, and our life as a family of 3 began, but now, the hopeful person I was back then is gone. And I couldn't have even imagined those awful things would happen. Here. Read this. What is it? What my daughter handed me as she returned from school was a notice for a field trip. A field trip, huh? Nice. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I could see genuine joy in her smile. Seeing her like that made me smile too. That was when Timothy came home. What are you two looking so happy about? Sailor is going on a field trip soon. Oh? Where to? It's like the amusement park in the next county over. Oh, that pretty big one? For the first time in a while, it felt like we had a pleasant conversation as a family. Sailor seemed satisfied, chatting and smiling with Timothy. However, at this moment, my husband was thinking of something outrageous using my daughter's field trip. Today, I'll be home late, so there's no need for dinner. Okay. He, who had been coming home late more often, seemed unusually happy upon returning home that day. Did something good happen? Eh? No, nothing in particular. But again, I could smell something like body wash coming from him. I wanted to let my daughter go on her field trip without any trouble, so this time, I chose to endure. Then, it was the day before the field trip. I'm home. I'm tired. You came back late again today. What? Any complaints? No, not really. Oh, right. I'll be going in to work in the afternoon tomorrow. Okay, got it. At that moment, I didn't question his words much. Thinking back, it was strange, but I didn't think much of it maybe because my interest in him had somewhat faded. Then, the next day came around. Huh? Timothy, you're leaving already? Weren't you supposed to start work in the afternoon? Yeah, that was the plan, but I've got some things to do. So, I'm heading out early. Saying that, he hurriedly left for work. He seemed a bit flustered, but my attention quickly shifted to my daughter. Got everything? Yep. Then, you're ready to go. Have fun. Will do. She left with a beaming smile. From the day it was decided she would go on the field trip, she had been looking forward to it. Lately, she seemed a bit down, probably because of Timothy, but I thought she would be okay. Oh, how wrong I was. It was about 2 hours after she left. She must be at the amusement park by now, having fun, I guessed. Just as I was thinking that, I heard the door open. Heading to the entrance, I saw my daughter. Mom, help me. What's wrong? What about the field trip? I don't want to go. I sensed this was no small matter. The smile she had in the morning was gone, replaced by streaming tears. Unable to comprehend why she was home, my thoughts froze for a moment. Shocked by her tears, I gently said, "Let's go inside first." Okay. I sat my daughter down on the couch to check on her, but she didn't seem to be injured anywhere. At the same time, a new question popped into my mind. How did you get back here? She was supposed to go to the amusement park by bus from school. It's impossible for her to have walked all the way back from the amusement park. Then, sobbing, she slowly started answering. I was brought back by car. Dropped off right in front of the house. By car? I couldn't help but raise my voice in surprise. Was it someone you know? It was Dad. What? I was so agitated, I had to call my husband right away. Hello, what's all this about? What are you talking about? Sailor's back home. I don't know anything about that. The call was ended unilaterally. Filled with anger, I clenched my fists. Can you tell me what happened? Yeah, look in my backpack. Just as she said, the inside of the backpack was a mess. Her favorite lunch, packed in a box, was open, and the food and snacks scattered everywhere. Not only that, but the juice that should have been in her Stanley was gone too. Did your dad do this? Yes. Okay. I left my daughter with a friend and headed to my husband's workplace. On the way, I received a call from the school. Is this Sailor's mother? Actually. Yes, speaking. Is it about Sailor? The teacher on the phone sounded panicked. I had completely forgotten in my anger at Timothy, but of course, it was only natural that they were worried about Sailor missing. Do you know anything? She just came back home. Home? So, that means that was. The teacher seemed to know something. Do you have any idea what it could be? I heard from other students that she was taken away by a man. I see. Well, my daughter is safe now. I'm really sorry for the trouble. I'm glad Sailor is safe. There's one more thing I'd like to ask. After a bit more conversation, the call ended. The man the teacher mentioned was most likely my husband. He had done a terrible thing to Sailor. He must have done what he had plotted on the call that night. The fact that he did this to my daughter, interrupting the school trip she had been looking forward to, was unforgivable. All right. Let's go. When I arrived in front of his office, I took a deep breath. It's been a while since I've been here. I know where my husband's office is. Wait, what? Marie? Oh, hi. The person who appeared was my former colleague. She was one of the few friends I had back then. Why are you here today? Oh, just because. Could it be? Timothy? Well, yeah. You two are still getting along well. Well, I'm off. I felt a little heartache for my former colleague who didn't know my situation. But having come this far, there was no turning back. I forcefully opened the door to my husband's office. Everyone present turned to look at me. Among them was my husband. Why are you here? He approached me in a hurry. What are you doing here? I came here because I need to talk to you. This is the office. Just go home. The office was abuzz with the unusual situation. I thought it wouldn't be bad to let everyone here know his true colors. I came to talk about Sailor. That's something we can talk about at home. No. It has to be here. Huh? Stop talking nonsense. Everything you did to Sailor has been found out. Then, a person came from the back of the office. It was the manager, who I also used to work with. It's been a while. It has been a long time. Can you please say something to her? Then, after a moment of thought, the manager slowly began to speak. No, I'll take responsibility here. It's an urgent matter, right? Yes. I replied confidently. First of all, why did you do such a thing? Such a thing? Making a mess inside Sailor's backpack and then bringing her home, right? There were witnesses. He grimaced for a moment, but then became defiant. Sailor was feeling unwell, so I just brought her home. Then why were you at the amusement park? It was her first time at the amusement park since starting elementary school. I was just a bit curious. That's bullshit, isn't it? Why would that be? I got a call from the teacher earlier, and it seems she wasn't alone, was she? Everyone present became even more agitated. You don't have any proof, do you? Apparently, my husband was going to deny everything. That's when I decided to play the recording I had made that night, right there and then. Hey! What are you doing? I highly doubt you'll still be able to be active so calm after you hear this. I played the recording. No matter how many times I listened to it, the content was horrifying. Words like terrible and the worst could be heard from those around. At this point, there was no escape for him. Is this true? No, this is. Yes, I was just discussing a problem with a friend. It's not like I was planning to do anything to Sailor. Hearing this, I couldn't help but smirk. But her name isn't mentioned anywhere in this conversation, is it? Oh. My husband had walked right into his own trap. Unable to bear the cold stares from those around him, he did a complete 180 and suddenly began to apologize. This was all according to instructions. I was just following orders. Instructions? Yes, it's all my mom's fault. Not mine. I was shocked to learn that even Maëlle had gone this far, but that didn't excuse my husband's actions. While pondering what to do next, the manager came up with a suggestion. For now, you should leave early. Why? With things like this, you won't be able to focus on work. You're suspended and banned from coming in until everything's resolved. I thought it was a wise decision. Then, let's go. Go? Where to? Just come with me. I forcibly dragged him out of the office. The destination was, of course, his parents' house. We got into his car and headed there. Throughout the journey, he looked anxious, clearly understanding what was about to happen. Here we are. After about an hour's drive, we finally arrived. I had to drag my reluctant husband out of the car and towards the front door. Hello. We were greeted by Maëlle. It's been a while. Why are you here? I have an urgent matter to discuss. I'm coming in. With that, I headed into the living room. Seeing Raphael reading the newspaper, I greeted him. Hi, it's been a while. What's the rush? There's something you really need to know. All right, sure. I made Timothy sit next to me and explained everything that had happened today. You two plotted it? Hold on. That must be this woman's fantasy, right? I played the recording for Raphael. So, what is this all about? Timothy, answer me. This was a call with Mom. Marie and Sailor were not to her liking, so she said to teach them a lesson. I was just doing what Mom told me. I'm a victim here too. He was desperately pleading with his father. Yet, my Raphael continued without so much as a twitch of his eyebrow. Even if that were the case, you had the option to refuse. By not doing so, you're equally guilty. Plus, you were the one who actually did it. Timothy was silenced by the hard truth. What have you done? I did it for Timothy and our family. Then, he let out a roar like I'd never seen before. How can you say that? What you two have done could leave a lifelong childhood memory for Sailor. It was the worst kind of deed. Even my Maëlle, usually so defiant, had nothing to say in return. Get out of my place. Dad. I said get out. There won't be a second time. What am I supposed to do if you do that to me? What did you just say to me? If my daughter had been there, she surely would have been crying her eyes out. His voice had that much intensity. Come on, Mom. Hurry. Timothy! Wait for me! Wanting to leave the scene as soon as possible, he pulled at his mother's hand. But escaping wasn't going to be that easy. I'm not done talking to you. Huh? I got a call from Sailor's teacher, saying you were with someone? There were witnesses. Timothy, have you cheated? I didn't do such a thing. Then prove it, I bet you can't. Looks like we have no choice but to get a divorce. Divorce? He probably never imagined I would say such a thing. He's such a man-child. If that's how it is, I won't hold back. As I said earlier, leave my place. And don't ever come back. Where you I go? I'm sorry, but give it up. All because of this bitch. Don't blame me. It's all your fault. Timothy and his mother were cut off and thrown out of the house in the end. She probably never expected things to turn out this way. Just because she disliked us, she ended up losing everything. Truly a pitiful mother and son. Now begins their real hell. I suppose they wouldn't bother you after that. It was more than enough, thank you so much, sir. But I'm more worried about your wife than about Timothy. Leave her to me. She can't do anything now anyway. Focus on Timothy instead. Yes. If anything, you can always contact me. And so, I left my in-laws' house and went to pick up my daughter. Mom! Sorry for making you wait. It's okay. Let's go home. With my daughter, I then headed for my parents' house. My mother was surprised, but after explaining everything, she accepted us all. Afterwards, I headed to a law firm to start filing for divorce from Timothy and his misdeeds towards Sailor. I prepared the divorce papers right away and contacted Timothy. I have been preparing for divorce proceedings with an attorney. Are you serious? Of course I am. Plus, I'll be filing for alimony, so if you don't like that, you better prove your innocence. That's... Yeah, and I'm also discussing with the lawyer about what you did to Sailor. So, good luck with that too. No, hey! Wait! I immediately hung up the phone. I'm done dealing with him. 2 weeks later, the divorce was finalized, and I was able to claim a sufficient amount in alimony. As for the former MIL, because of you, we've had a terrible time. That's entirely your own doing, isn't it? How about you stop blaming others? Shut up! You and your daughter should go to hell. I'll return those words right back to you. As expected, she had contacted me. My words left there speechless. I struggled to hold back my laughter as I hung up and blocked her number. Several months passed. How are things over there? Me and Sailor are doing well. We'll be coming over to see you soon. Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. From what I heard from him, it seems my ex and his mother are living together. But they are still fighting over who is to blame. Such a hopeless mother and son. Well, this is their just desserts. From now on, it's just going to be the two of us again. It's okay, as long as I'm with you, Mom. Thank you. Once again, it's just me and my daughter, but this situation couldn't be helped. Staying with such a husband would have been bad for my daughter's upbringing. From now on, it will be just me and my daughter, hand in hand, living our lives together.